Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today and discussing with you on the power of digital that uh, small and medium businesses and growing businesses and even larger businesses can harness and become successful. So let's start our presentation. So, this is an executive summary of the things that I'm going to cover today, and which starts with some interesting observations, the reasons for the sad state of SMBs today, three ways in which future can be brighter or bleaker for SMBs, a plan to fight, and let's see the solutions and let's discuss it out. So these are the two interesting, observations that we have seen now in this state of affairs where we are plagued with a dual impact of pandemic on one hand and the recession or impending recession on the other hand. Now, what we are looking at now is that on one hand, the medium and large sized organizations, they have somehow leapfrogged in terms of technology adoption. Leapfrogged by almost, some people say 5 years, and some research report says about 8 years. So 8 years ahead of today in terms of technology adoption, and all that in just a matter of a few weeks. Right. But on the other hand, we are seeing that a lot of MSMEs or small businesses are shutting shop. Okay. And or they are scaling down. Uh, why is that? I mean, that's an interesting observation. On one hand, some organizations are leapfrogging, they're looking at the future. But on the other hand, it's a very sad state of affairs that some businesses are shutting down or closing down. Why is that so? Why is it happening? And before we get into solutions and the way forward and how we can leverage technology or digital, it's important for us to understand why is this happening. And the reason is very clear. The MSMEs or the small organizations or the growing organizations have not invested into digital technology. Okay. uh, or if they have invested, they have invested in bits and pieces, right? Or of some of them who were ready to invest but they procrastinated, and then this happened. So that's one fault. I think we are either not implementing technology, or we are not implementing it correctly and in a wholesome way, right? Or we have procrastinated. We thought that we could save money by not doing that, but instead it's a costly mistake, right? So idea is that if any business has a vision around their own industry, then they should invest in technology. Now, the technology can be a technology that they can use in the manufacturing of their product. That's one part of the story. But they need to invest into technology that will help them create a great experience with their customers and help them to sell the products or services better, right? So, technology is not just product oriented or manufacturing oriented, but also in terms of how consumers perceive the experience of your solutions, right? So when I say consumers, of course, it means or it implies both your end users, your channel partners, your principals, whosoever is the stakeholder here. I think that's where the mistake happened. I think one thing is very clear: whenever technology disrupts, it has two impacts. One, it makes the product or the solution very, very cheap, right? The value decreases in terms of the cost. And second, it hits hard on the employment part or human participation part. Look at any industry in the last 150 years, textile or even agriculture or farming. There was a time when 80% of this entire world's population was involved in some kind of agriculture or farming activities. But today, in just about 150 years, the population that is involved in farming is just about 1%, even less than 1%. That's because technology has been adopted by the farmers, and the farmers who adopted technology became so big that they killed other small farmers, killed in the sense that their business was killed, right? So there was no opportunity for smaller players who did not adopt technology. Okay, today farmers adopt technology like drones, right? Or CRM, right? Uh, in every aspect of farming, right? Quality control technology is used. So that's one part of the story. I'm just talking about the manufacturing part of the story, the production part of the story. Technology is important, but the same story is repeated in the marketing side, right? The same story. Vendors or principals or organizations who adopt technology for marketing, for creating customer experience, kill competition, right? So that's important to understand, and I think we understand that technology adoption is something that a lot of us have not invested into, and which has led us into witnessing a future which looks bleak. And the reason is that number one, your business continuity is at stake. Okay, when I say business continuity, it implies that the current business, right, that current business is at stake because of pandemic and because of this recession environment. A lot of your people may be working remotely. A lot of them would have left the job, okay, and so on. What that means is that you may not have enough people to do justice to your business right now. Number two, even if you have the people, the data on which the business runs, that could be financial data, it could be marketing data, it could be your design data, it could be your CRM, contact center data, it could be tenders data, prototype data, whatever. That data is 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 it available to you, right? Has it gone with the people who have gone from the organization? Is it scattered everywhere, right? So today the problem is that your business continuity is at stake today because you don't have access to the complete view of the data. Okay. Number two, the customer experience is at stake, which means that the consumers who want to buy something from you or who have a certain query or a complaint, okay, or who would want some kind of hand holding, are they getting that experience that they crave for from you? Are you ready to deliver that experience? If you have not adopted technology, digital technology, you are not ready. And if you are not ready, the customer is observing that. The customer does not forget or forgive a bad experience. They are going to go to the competition. That's for sure going to happen if you're not delivering. And they might go today or they might go tomorrow, but they have to go. Right. So that is another problem that you're going to face in future if you have not faced that so far. Your principals, right, the larger organizations with whom you are vertically integrated now, right? Maybe it's a large automobile company which has vertically integrated with your company which is into component manufacturing. They are also looking at partners who are digitally savvy, right? The future, and that's why the future, which is when the revival comes in, are you ready for that future? You're not ready for that future if you have not adopted digital technology. And I'm not talking about technology in manufacturing, I'm talking about the customer experience and marketing, that technology, right? If you're not, then the customer is not going to come to you when the revival happens. They are going to go to a competition or to a player which has given them the right experience now at this time of need. Okay. They are going to remember that and they're going to go to that competition or a player when the revival comes in. Your principals are also looking at partners who are digitally savvy, right? Who have digital in place to help them to market their products better or to help them get insights into consumer through the data that is captured through these efforts, right? If you're not ready with these things, your future is bleak, right? And that's the challenge that I am looking at. Okay. Now, however, so situation is bad, but situation can be in control. We have not lost everything. There is still time, and I'm saying that we can get up to speed in the next 30 days, right? So four things that we need to invest our time into. These are not costly affairs, but we need to invest our time into these four areas to be ready for the revival. Okay. Number one is business continuity part, and how can cloud help us, right? So I'm going to just take a few minutes on each of these things. Today is not the time to delve deeper, but maybe sometime in future we can delve deeper into each of these four areas. Second is, of course, to invest into automation and CRM for a better customer experience and control of the data that you have. Third is to adapt your business model for digital age. Can you leverage e-commerce, for instance, and we'll see how and what are the options that we have. And fourth, how can we leverage digital tools to acquire and influence our customers or prospects, right? Again, as I said, we can't delve deeper into these areas today. Each of these areas would require a separate session like this or multiple sessions like these. If you're interested, of course, we can take it up in future. Right now, let's have a kind of an overview of each of these. Now, as I was saying, that because of this, paucity of technology in our environment, or not having the right technology, we are not in control of our business. We are not in control of the data that our business produces, right? 40% of businesses never open back after a disaster. Why is that so? Not just because that they have lost a lot of infrastructure. Maybe a disaster could be anything, right? And I'm including recession into it and the pandemic part also into it, but not just because they have lost the infrastructure or human resources have gone, but also because the data has gone, right? They don't have a clue of who owes them what, and uh, you know, as I said, a lot of data, and that data has to be recreated again, which is a costly affair, right? Very, very costly affair. So data loss, or data got corrupted, or not being able to access your data timely, right? Even if you have access to data, even if you know that, okay, in my team 10 people have this data set, but can you get hold of that data set today, right now, right? Do you have that access of financial, marketing, CRM, tenders, right? Everything. Do you have all that data, admin, facilities, all that data? If you want to have a look at today, right now, would you have that access, right? So that's a question to ponder upon. Another problem is the password breach, and specifically in these times of remote working, you don't know who is accessing what, right? And who is authorized for what data. You give password so that a person can access some part of the data, but then he gets access to everything. Okay. Or you have shared password with someone, and that password gets shared with someone else now from there on. Right. So you don't know that. That's a huge problem if there is a password breach. All these, can lead to millions of dollars of losses at times. But all this can be avoided. It's a very cheap and economical option for us to invest in cloud and do that. I'll Let me show you what we do here, and there are two clear options that we can work out. Let me shift this here. One is, of course, the cloud backup part. Okay, when I say cloud backup, don't get intimidated. This is a very easy and economical option. Anyone can do it. Your IT person can do it, or you can yourself do it. You have to do is not just back up your data, okay, but also do a backup of everyone in your team. Okay. And when I say backup is not storage, or not just storage. I am talking about real time data sync of not just your computer or your PC, but also your employees. Okay, so that you are in control and you see all the data. You have one view of all the data, And more importantly, your teammates, your employees also have access to important data when they need it. They are not dependent upon someone to provide that data, right? If someone leaves the organization, they are not dependent upon the fact that that data has to be backed up and then forwarded to them. Nothing of that sort, right? So cloud backup and sync is a part of your disaster recovery plan that you need to invest into. Second is, of course, the password access for employees. None of your employees need to know the passwords of applications that are used. If you use Tally, they don't need to know the passwords, right? Right. There are options to make them users, but if there are no such options, then what? So you have to invest into an application which can give people access, right? And you control that access, and they don't see the password, they directly log in, right? So those kind of applications you must invest right now. I'm going to give you a glimpse of how they look like. Just a second. So let me see if I can show you my screen here. Okay, look at this screen here. Okay, this is a kind of our organization's backup. Not just my file, but I know everyone or most important of my teammates, right, who are producing and working with a lot of data, all their data is available to us here. Okay, all of us can access it, right? But this data cannot be deleted, uh, except by the admin, of course. And then, so this kind of a data backup system you need to invest into. Second, I'm going to show you about the password management. Now look at this. All the important platforms where you access your teammates access, okay, you can give them access, you know, you decide who gets access, right? And you decide what kind of access. Do you want to grant them a login only, which means they don't see the password, or you want to give them a view password, or can they modify the password, and can they manage other teammates to share the passwords? You decide that. No one looks at, or no one can see the password if you don't want them to see it, right? So completely secure. You are securing your business right now and making business continuity possible. That's the point. Okay, now let's come back to our presentation. Okay, so second part, apart from investing into cloud and the password protection applications, second area where we need to focus upon is the digital CRM and automation. Okay, why? Because you need to know more about your customers. If you know more about their customers, their behavior, uh, then you can sell them better, right? When I say you, then you and your team, of course. You need to have insights into which channels are working the best for you in terms of getting you the customers at the best cost. Okay. You need to understand lifetime value of your customers. How much is a customer worth? There could be some set of customers who spend 10 lakh rupees over 1 year, right, or over their lifetime with you, and there are some who spend just 5,000 rupees. You now decide what kind of service delivery and acquisition of a customer that you want to invest into for different segments. Of course, customers who have a higher lifetime value, you would want to pamper them, right? But you need to know who are they. You can't set a standard policy for everyone, right? So this is how you're going to save your money, save your cost, save your resources, and focus on your top customers, right? That's business, isn't it? Third is you need to create a great customer experience. Okay, I'm not talking about just a plain simple CRM. Customer relationship management applications are dime a dozen. You can get them, maybe you have them also, but these need to be integrated with your email, with your SMS, with your phones, and what have you, right? and these need to be live, in the sense you should know when was the last time the customer came, from where did he come, what was the query, where is he now in the entire funnel, right? And who is servicing this customer right now, what is the last interaction, what is the last communication that went to the customer, okay, and so on. Has the customer read that communication or not? 10 different things, right? So you need to know that, right? You need to uh, make that happen through automation, right? Your salespeople need to be aware of the latest development in products and the latest schemes, etc. That should be there in their mobile phone. It can be connected via automation itself. Okay, so idea is that you get control of the customer data, invest into a digital CRM which is integrated. Like again, for example, if I show you uh, something like this, okay, where for example, it's a sample data where we know our customer, and we know their contact details, etc., but we also understand you know what was the last activity. There was a mail that went and which bounced, and I know that it bounced, right? And which is why I can't see a lot of activities here, but ideally I would see a lot of activities here in terms of which videos have the seen, which content have they seen, have they filled up a form, if yes, what are the details, and how much is the total score, right? So I we give them score also based on interaction with our company, right? So all these things, the higher the score, of course that customer is very valuable, interested in your product and services, right? So it's important to invest in such a CRM and automation techniques, right? Now, third part is, of course, is to find out new ways to do business. Okay. Now, in today's parlance, I can very clearly say that there are two important parts to this. Right? We can go deeper into it and we can find out how we can tweak business models, etc. But today we're just talking about two areas. One is your website. I'm sure all of you would have your website. If you don't have a website, some of you don't have a website, do invest into it. It's not a luxury, it's not an option, right? Uh, you are simply not in business if you don't have a website. That is one. Number two, your website is a reflection of your brand, and it's a reflection of your thought process, how you think, right? And that differentiates you from competition. You go to a website, or let's say go to two or three websites in a similar domain, and then you will have a perception about, okay, this person looks good to me, right? This company looks, has some kind of intellect, right? They are thinking, and that reflects in their website. Okay, so the passion, the seriousness, the thought process, these are reflected in a website. So don't think that I can spend 5,000, 10,000 rupees and get a website done for the sake of it. It is going to be worse than not having a website, right? Invest money. It's a one-time expense. Invest money into creating a good website. It's also important. Today, the customers do not want to come face to face. They want to interact with you digitally through your website, right? So it's your duty to give them or to lend them a great experience on your website. And one of the ways in which you can do that is, of course, by having a good website for sure, but also by having or investing into a chatbot. Okay, it's a small thing, right? But if a customer comes at 9 p.m. in the night or 12 p.m. in the night, and which normally happens, of course, right? How are you going to service that customer? That customer may want to interact with you, and some part of the data the person can get on the website. But if it has certain queries, if it wants to know more, how can you interact with that person? Right? The customers come at their own time. If you have a website, then you are reaching out to people across India, not just in a specific location, maybe across the world. So customers don't have a time to come. They can come anytime. So invest into a chat bot as well, apart from a good website. Now, what can chatbot do? Chatbot option is essentially a chat option on your website. A lot of companies have live chat options, but the problem with live chat is that they need to install a human being at the back end, and that human being sometimes is available, sometimes is not available. Sometimes he's chatting with someone else, maybe one customer, then the second customer comes, the person can't chat, right? So it's a costly affair, number one. Number two, they cannot chat 24 by 7. So you are missing out on your consumers, right? Only 1% of the consumers who come to your website fill up a form. 99% do not fill up a form, they go out, right? With a chatbot, intelligent chatbot, you can make this 1%, 3%, or 5%, which means you can get your lead acquisition, right, 3 to 5 times more, which hits your bottom line also, right? So again, another example of a good chatbot. Again, so this is our website, okay, and you can see there is a chatbot here, and this is a special chatbot. As you can see, this talks.
Hello, welcome to .converse. My name is Shal.
Okay, so since I think I have put on the mic here, you may not listen to the voice, but this chatbot is talking in human voice. Okay, and then after that, right, it's not important. The important part is that because of this chatbot, the customer is engaged with the website. They are spending more time at the website, and then one can also now chat with someone. So maybe at 10 p.m. in the night, or right, whatever, right, you can actually chat with someone. Okay, so I can say here, and then this person, this is a chat bot, this is a robot which is chatting with me. This can show me videos, this can give me links, this can set up a meeting of a customer with a salesperson, right? It can give you a calendar and so on. So that's great, isn't it? Something like that is great. So, and this, which is what we want. The second part that we want is uh, e-commerce. Okay, that's important. Why would you want to restrict yourself to face-to-face selling? If you have a product that you can sell online, why not? Okay. Uh, some people can tweak their business models, and if they are B2B companies, they can also create some B2C options of the same product, right? Or a related product. So that's tweaking of business model. But even if you have a B2B product, you can still go the e-commerce way, right? But the e-commerce here is going to be slightly different. There are two important areas that manufacturers uh, or growing businesses like you need in an e-commerce, right? Let me show you the example. Another example here. Okay. So for example, this is a e-commerce storefront, right? As a business owner who is selling high involvement, very expensive products which are bought by professionals or businesses, they're not going to just click and buy. They need to have an option to get a demonstration. So here is an option to get an online demo. Person clicks it, and automatically they can choose a time and date for a demo, and then a mail with a link of Zoom or Google Meet goes to both parties, the salesman and the customer, and they can click on that day and come face to face and then interact, and then the demo is given here, right? After the demo, the person can buy any product from here, and then this complete site is integrated with payment gateway, of course, and as well as shipping. So which means the moment the payment hits your bank, shipping is automatically routed, and the shipper comes to your place, collects it booked, and kind of delivers it back to the customer. So these kind of e-commerce platforms. Now the problem is that you might say that, okay, e-commerce platforms are expensive. Now you might have to spend 5-10 lakh rupees in creating something, then having a person to manage it, host this, various applications that you have to buy for maintenance, etc. All that is not required with this is our product. Okay, which we are using with certain companies right now, this product can be used by any business owner. It's just a few thousand rupees a month, right? You're not spending 5-10 lakh rupees. You don't have to manage it, you don't have to maintain it. Everything is done by a team at the back end for you, and complete shipment, demo, payment gateway management, everything is done by the team at the back end, right? The site runs on your website, so complete branding of yours, right? So that is one part. But the second interesting part here is that what if you have 100 channel partners? In today's time, how are you going to enable your channel partners to sell more? Now we know that each of your channel partner has a geographical, area where that partner operates into. Now that partner can be a distributor or maybe a dealer, but they have a geographical area where they deal into, and they also have a list of key accounts who buy your products often through them, and they also market their products and services in those specific areas, geographical areas, right? Even cheaper, maybe a couple of thousand years. Now you can actually enable each of these 100 channel partners with their own e-commerce site like this on their websites. They can just send SMS or email to their customers. They can come here, buy from here, right? And there are, of course, all sorts of facilities that you get on e-commerce, like coupon codes or promotional offers or location-based pricing. So each location can have a different, pricing mechanism. I think I'm losing my internet connection here. Okay. And the best part is that you get a dashboard. As a principal, you get a dashboard at the back end, and you see what each of your 100 retailers are selling, how much are they selling, how frequently are they selling, who is the consumer who is buying, every data. And that data you don't have today. Who they are selling to and how much they are selling. Uh, of course, that data is hard to get, but the main part is that you are helping them liquidate the stocks that they have, right? Through this, again, as I said, when it comes to 100 users using this, each on their own domain, each branded with your reseller's domain, and you are at the center of it, controlling everything, this becomes even cheaper, right? Even cheaper, maybe a couple of thousands a month, rupees a month, right? So now that kind of investment does not pinch you, right? But you need to invest there, right? And this does not go from your pocket, because this can go from the partners' pockets. And even if they sell one product a week through this, their cost for the entire year maybe is taken care of. So these are smart decisions that we have to invest into, that we have to make today from a digital perspective, right? Now, the advantages are, of course, I don't need to enumerate them. People who cannot visit you, now you are opening up channel for them. Your channel partners who are witnessing low sales, you are enabling them to sell more, right? You can add more product lines. This is your platform. Add as many product categories as you want. Your business can expand globally or nationally, whichever way. You're not restricted now to specific location, right? So and so on, and you are ready for revival. When the revival comes, your customer today, your competitor's customer who could not find a way to transact with that competition online, has come to you, got a great experience. When revival comes, that guy is going to become a loyal with you, right? He could be a professional, he could be an end user, or he could be a large automotive or a large principal, right? Who is willing to invest into you or partner with you if you are investing into digital technologies, right? The last part, right, is about digital communications. How can you leverage digital marketing here? Okay. And before we delve into that, very quickly, there are three types of customers that you are looking at. Number one, of course, your existing customer base. Okay. Number two are people who are searching for products which you manufacture, but they are searching for it. They want to buy it right now. Okay. They might buy from the competition also, but they're searching for it. And third are people who are researching, who are not intending to buy it right now, but they are in a phase of research and they might buy it later on. Three important. So which channels to leverage? I'll give you a very small glimpse just in one slide about what to do here. Okay. Number one is invest into Google search. A lot of people make the mistake of either not investing into search marketing or not consistently investing throughout the year. Invest in throughout the year and see the results for yourself. Okay. Not just that, you can do radius targeting. If you are operating in a specific location or a specific region or a specific city, then you can only restrict your targeting to customers who are within that radius. That radius could be 5 kilometers, or that radius could be 500 kilometers or 5,000 kilometers. You decide that. Okay. So this is important. Search plus location targeting. Second, people who are already your customers, what should you do with them? Today, you have an opportunity to upsell to them, to cross sell to them, to ask them for referrals, right? And how do you do that? You can do that through social media because they are there on social platforms. You can do through email marketing. Their data is with you on email marketing. Okay. If they are not opening your mails, they are not attending your calls or SMS or whatever, you have another opportunity, and that is called a custom target marketing. Through their phone numbers and email IDs, we can detect them and target them with very laser sharp message, whether they are on Facebook or Google or wherever. Okay, so I can segment my customers that this is a customer who bought 1,000, let's say, uh, 1,000 bicycles last year. I can target precisely that customer and maybe many more like him and show them very specific ads. Okay, it could be around referral, it could be around thanking them, it could be around upselling something or cross selling something, right? That's one part. Second part, this is the time to invest in troubleshooting, hand holding people, right? Tell them how they can use your products better. Okay, if you see GoPro cameras, you are all aware of. GoPro does not advertise much about its products. They invest their money into telling people who are their existing buyers of what can they do more with the product, how they can use the product more innovatively. By doing that, they are creating a loyal base of fans who are referring them new customers, who are showing off their product to others, right? And loyalty is of course guaranteed. Okay, so repeat purchase is guaranteed, upsell is guaranteed, cross sell is guaranteed, right? So they don't need to do fresh marketing. So it's very important, specifically in these times. If you help the customer, if you troubleshoot proactively, right, then they are going to appreciate it. Now, my own personal example, in my office, for instance, my office was closed for some time, for a few months, and I was wondering what to do with our internet connections, right? Now, on one hand, there is BSNL, for instance, at which BSNL internet connection at my home, and last 6 months the phone is dead, and there is no way I am able to touch base with them. They send me a bill every month. I have to pay that full bill, but there is nothing I can do to disconnect my service or downscale my service because there is no way to reach them, right? There is hardly any way to reach them. Very difficult. I have not found a way to reach them, to be honest, and I'm paying every month. But when it comes to Airtel in my office, these guys proactively come back and tell us that if you're not using your internet connection, go and give the 2,000 rupees that you give us per month. That's not a big deal, but still, they're saying that don't give 2,000 bucks, give us 300 rupees a month, and we'll put it into the safe custody. Now that's a proactive win-win situation. They're also earning money. They're locking me up. Okay, they are, because I'm not compelled to disconnect, right? So they're locking me up. They're also earning some revenue on between, and I'm also happy. I appreciate that. So become that business who handholds, troubleshoots proactively, right? And in the meantime, share your story also. Share how you are uh, using this time to make your product better, to make your employees smarter, to become ready for the revival time, right? The new vision, that the new services that you want to launch in the future, your customer stories. Now create that human connect. This is the time to do that. Okay. Last is social media, and you target social media for prospective users, people who are researching, people who are uh, researching on LinkedIn, for instance, or SlideShare, for instance, or various places. And that is where you need to create educative content and put them there for discovery, right? People will appreciate that, because your objective should not be to sell to people who are researching. Your objective should be to enable them to make the right decision. Whether they go with you eventually or your competition is immaterial. They are going to thank you for the great enablement that you have invested into in the course of time, in the course of the funnel. And one day they're going to either come back to you, or they're going to refer people to you, or they are going to buy some add-on services from you, right? This happens with us a lot of time. This happens with everyone who invests into digital marketing in a thought out way, not with a single mindset of lead generation or sales. You have to think of your customers, segment them, and then with a clear objective, leverage digital marketing. So I hope you enjoyed this session. It was a long session. I'm sorry if I bored some of you, but in the end, I am happy. I enjoyed this session and look forward to meeting you again. Thank you.